Yeah, okay. So I hope you joined for .NET demo lecture, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's get started for the demo lecture. So, so this will be like introduction part of .NET, like what things we will be discussing uh, in this training, okay, and what will be the content. Uh, First of all, we will go from for presentation, then we will go for the brief about the content, like the topics that we will be discussing in the training, and the question and answer session at last. Okay. So what I will do, I'll just open my presentation and then we will go for um, topics that is planned for today's lecture. So let me start. Okay. So let me share my screen. Uh, I hope it's visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So this .NET demo session is all about like giving you a roadmap that for 45 days, okay, because if all goes well, what things that we will be discussing, what things you will learn, and what is there for you. Okay, so that will be a complete roadmap for you, and then you will have a complete idea. You will have a complete learning material that you will see in these 45 days of training. So the learning part, what you will learn first of all. Okay, so if I go to this slide, you just yeah, you see here the first slide, like what you will be learning. So that is the two parts that you can see on the screen. So the first one is front end. Like what is a front end? Basically, the front end is nothing but your uh, like let me just yeah, front end is nothing but your embassies. Like for example, you have ASP.NET, you have a embassy framework as well, and C Sharp. So the C Sharp is a language that is not a front end language. That is a programming language that we will be selecting here. Okay, so we have multiple languages. We have many languages that the .NET supports. For example, we have Java, we have Visual Basics, we have Python. Okay, all these languages supported by a .NET. But right now we will be picking as a C Sharp. Okay, if you are comfortable in C Sharp, you will write a code in Visual Basic as well. That is not a problem. Okay, but Visual Studio, but the like what I say, like ASP.NET Framework, the .NET Framework supports other languages as well. C Sharp is one of the easy language that is helpful for you to get started with .NET. Also, you can see we have a framework, like for example, we have ASP.NET and we have MVC. So this ASP.NET is nothing but our web forms. Okay, so these web forms basically used to have you can see here we have a web form. So this is also called as a web forms. So I'll say web forms. that is with the help of, and say, ASPX pages. And here we have a MVC. So this is a like we can call it as MVC5 as well. Many of the developers call it as MVC5. That is nothing but your .cs HTML pages, right? So these two different things we have. Okay, and with the help of this, what we can do, we can actually create a front-end applications. Okay, we can create a front-end applications, and we will use a C# language in both of these language. With the help of C#, we can create this front-end application. So this is a front-end page. This is also a front-end page. Okay, but what are we doing here? We are actually creating a front-end application by learning a C#, right? So this is HTML. Like we just need to focus on the basic stuff of HTML, like how to create a button, like text boxes and everything, but with the help of .NET, but with the help of ASP.NET. What are the frameworks we have? What are the tools we have? Okay, so with the help of these tools, we will go and create this front end. And this snippet you can see at the last, this snippet is basically used to uh, create a C# language. Okay, so this C# is a code now. Okay, this is a C# code, like how it look like. So you can see here, this is a main method here. We have, this is you can see system.console.writeLine hello world. Okay, whenever we run this code in the our Visual Studio or our through the notepad as well, okay, we will see a hello world printed uh, on the Visual Studio or notepad, right?
Okay.
Yep. So that is the actually the snippet that I actually shared with you. Okay. So like
Okay.
any questions till now?
No.
Okay. Sorry. So let's go to the next slide. Uh, so the next slide is basically the database. Like what is the database we have? So we have SQL Server 2016. That is the version that is recommended, but I will be using a latest version of SQL Server, that is SQL Server 2019. I will be using here, and this 2019. So two two things are there. So we already created a front-end application. Okay, we already created a front-end application in previous slide. We know what is our backend. So this backend that will be on .NET. This front end that could be a MVC or web forms, right? Two things we have. Our backend will be a proper C# .NET no backend. Now, whenever we create a front-end application, let's take an example. We created a front-end application for registration page or login page. Okay, where are we storing this data? Okay, so this data we need to store somewhere so that we can use this data. We can perform some analytics. We can perform some like as of now we trending is analytics. Like we perform some um, like algorithms, we perform some analysis on our data, right? And we can use that data for our processing. Okay, so that
Okay.
data will be processed in the, or we can store it is in the SQL Server, and then we will use that data. Okay, so here we have a query here. This is a query. How to find out a data from a database? For example, we have a database here at first, and then we have a tables. Okay, and then we have a rows and columns, just like we have an Excel file. In this Excel file, what we are storing, we are storing columns. Okay, and this is my row. Okay, so this column belongs to the name. For example, name, and then you can say salary. right? So same way we are storing a data in the SQL Server as well. Okay, we need a tool here. We need two tools here. The first tool is a SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server first tool, and to access this server, we need a management studio. Just like we need a Visual Studio in the .NET, we need a SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, to access this server. Okay, don't worry about these things. We will be going each and every step by step. Okay, like
Okay.
I will be sharing a link to you, like how to download Visual Studio, how to download the SQL Server, how to download the SSMS as well.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just giving you the information right now, like what things planned for the trainings and how things we will be going from each stage to stages, right?
Yep.
So, so this is a .NET related stuff, like how we will data will be storing in the database and how you can access now. Right now, you can see here we are seeing that select star from company. Now this company is a table name, okay,
Yep.
where employee name is our column,
Column.
okay,
And
and this
star is
ABC
all.
is and this ABC is our record, like for example,
Yep.
name of your employee,
Yep.
right? So this is how the data will be required, and the star is belongs to all the columns I want. For example, if I want only the name or salary, I'll just say name, comma, salary. So the columns which is required from the table. The star means all the columns from this table,
Mhm.
right? So this is just a beginning, right? Don't worry about the all the syntaxes and everything. Just get started. We are just getting started with these things. Once we are comfortable, we'll go for complete lecture about this .NET and SQL Server as well. So these two things you will be learning, and this is very much important from your career point of view, because if you are confident in these two things, you'll go and write an application, you'll perform your activities, in the company related project as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is a first slide. Any questions in this uh, slide?
No, nothing at this stage. Thank you.
Okay. We'll go for the next one. Now, so what things that the SSIT software training will be provided to you? So you can see here the .NET platform was developed by the Microsoft as an open source platform for users to develop various applications and services using Windows. So .NET is a free cross-platform for many different types of applications. With .NET, you can use multiple languages, editors, and libraries to build for mobile, web, desktop, games, IoT, and more. So, so this is a .NET for you. Like it actually gives a lot of things to build this application. So we can build web applications, we can build desktop applications as well. And what SSIT will giving to you. So SSIT software online trainings Microsoft.NET framework is a course designed with help of top industry experts, making you proficient in working with .NET for web and desktop and understanding the .NET architecture, building a dynamic websites, and designing the interactive desktop and web application with hands-on demonstration. Right? So this complete training will be hands-on.
Mhm.
Okay. So for example, if we learn a lecture on .NET, let's take an example. If we learn a lecture on session, okay, how the session works. If we learn a lecture on cookies, what is a cookies, how the cookies works right now with the help of e-commerce site like for example Amazon or Google, how these things working within Google and Amazon, how they are working these cookies. So these cookies and everything we'll be learning in .NET as well with the help of demo. Okay.
Okay.
So this is related to the content that we'll be discussing in the SSIT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next is exercise. What is exercise? What exercise we have? So we will having exercise called. So I will be giving you a quiz. I will be giving you some assignments, some practice tests, and this quiz, assignment, and practice test just to evaluate yourself, how much you understood from that particular topic, how much you are confident in .NET. So this evaluation is just to giving you the idea about the knowledge that you gain from that particular topic. This is not the passing criteria for this training. This is just to evaluate a particular milestone that we have completed. Okay, this is just to learn. This is just to evaluate yourself. Unless you are not evaluating yourself, you will not get an idea. Like you'll not get the idea about how much thing you are gained from that particular topic.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, right? So that
Yeah.
is why we arrange this quiz, assignments, and practice. And this is not to each and every slide. This is not for each and every topic. This is for some of the topics we planned, and we will be planning for more in the coming training lectures as well. Okay,
Okay.
so this is and and trust me, like this will help you learning more things because I will be giving some real-time tasks to you. For example, creating a forms, like connect that form with the database and perform some activities. So you will get some errors by doing this stuff, and you learn from that errors as well. Okay, because during the interviews, you'll get some questions, like random questions, like real-time questions as well. And at that time, you should have a confidence, like you should clear those questions during the interviews as well. Okay. So
Okay.
the next stage is basically the example, like what type of example you will be seeing in this today's class. So this is a complete live application I will be demonstrating to you at the end of the demo lecture, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that complete live application that is I have created just to give the idea about the um, how things works in the industry, how things actually work with the help of .NET, with the help of MVC, with the help of web forms, right? So don't worry about this live application. I will be explaining you at the end of the session. Now you can see the next slide is about the homework. You can see homework. So what is the homework for you? So you need to practice. You need to read a lot of things. You need to practice. Unless you are not practicing, unless you are not reading the .NET related stuff, you won't be a in the, you know you won't be a good programmer. If you want to be a good programmer, there is no pill to convert yourself as a good programmer. It takes a lot of reading, learning, and practice. So you need to spend a lot of time because right now your uh, maybe your background is not .NET. Maybe your background is not in IT. Let's take an example. So you need to spend more time in this .NET, and you're obviously in the programming phase. Correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah. What is your questions? Do you have any concerns? Any questions till now?
No, no concerns. But let me just introduce myself first, so that
Yeah.
you will be aware as to uh,
Sure.
just to uh, design something for myself or to take up the topic. What? So I'm Uday, basically based in Hamilton, New Zealand. Now, I'm part of the IT team here, already working for a government organization called as Health New Zealand, or basically with all the hospitals here. I am working as a specialist in terms of integration. So you must have heard of the FHIR or HL7 messages.
Mm,
It's mostly to do with the medical stuff. So
mm,
I basically use an interface called as Rhapsody for it, wherein we manage all our HL7 messages, integrating them between the various systems what we have got uh, for us and between other organization. I also, in our team, we do have developers. We work basically on .NET framework at the moment, and that's the reason why I'm keen to learn .NET framework. So already they are involved into projects doing the .NET framework. So just want to contribute on my side after learning or becoming little bit of expertise, not complete expertise into that one. So that's the main motivation why I'm just here today undergoing this demo.
okay, okay. So, you are already in the IT, that is a good sign. And
Yeah,
also you're contributing to the .NET, so that's why you start learning this, learning this .NET sessions. And we'll
yeah,
give you a lot of idea about the .NET as well, like how we are going from each stage. For example, let's take an example C sharp. So in C
yeah,
sharp, we will be learning about object-oriented programming. So if you have a little bit idea, that is fine, but we will going from in depth, like how the object-oriented programming works,
yeah,
what things are there. So let me just stop the sharing. Let me share the content that we will be discussing in this uh, lecture. Uh, so as you can see my slide, I hope it's visible.
mm,
So you can see here, like this is a 45 days of training. For
mm,
each day, we will be spending 1 hour. That includes the lecture as well as the demonstration. And you can see here, straight away we are starting from C sharp, like what is the introduction of C sharp, what are the features of C sharp, and then we will starting for the object-oriented programming. So that is very much
yeah,
important from your, as you know, like it is a base of your any language. You can pick, for example, C sharp, Java, Python, any language. So this
yeah,
object-oriented programming, we'll be discussing about the abstraction, polymorphism, interfaces, encapsulation, and these are the pillars of object-oriented programming. Same way, we will be going for the data types, like what are the data types uh, presented in these C sharp. Those data types, we have generic, we have non-generic data types. What are the collections we have? For example, list, we have hash tables, dictionaries. So each and every topics, we have a slide, we have a presentation, and with the help of that presentation, we will be also going for the demo lecture as well. So this C sharp, do not hesitate to also we will be arranging the some question and answer. For example, I'm giving some quiz, so you need to spend some time on the weekend and then submit it to do the coordinate.
yeah,
Next one is web application. Now, what is the plan for the web application? This is a web forms, that is a ASPX forms. So in this way, ASPX forms will be targeting, .NET Framework 4.8. That is the latest framework in the market right now. Also, we will be learning about the page lifecycle, how the page lifecycle works, what are the events associated for page lifecycles, what are the forms, for example, controls, buttons, events, for each control, what are the events we have, and how can we go and create a web forms in ASPX web forms. Also, the validation also plays a key role during the web application, like how you can validate a form, just
mhm,
like a validations we have run normally in the websites. For example, we need to submit a form for email ID, password, confirm passwords. Then we have a regular expression, for example, phone numbers. right? So all these validations we have in .NET, we need to learn these things, how we can incorporate these validations in .NET. Now, the important is here the data bound control. Now, what do you mean by data bound control? Is basically a grid view. So whenever we see a complete a page, and in that, for example, invoice or some, you are into the medical background. So in medicals, we have a complete charts. For example, the grid view we have. In that grid view, we are editing a row, we are deleting a row from that particular table on the web page, right? So how things works with the help of web application, with the help of .NET. How can we go and bind a data? For example, we have a database here, and from that database, I need to bind a data into the web application. Okay, so this is a web app. So in this web app, how I will go and connect to this web application and how it will return that data back to the web application. So that connectivity we will be having ADO.NET. So that is a basically the framework that is associated in the .NET. With the help of this, we will be connecting to the web applications. Don't worry, that's why I said like we will be having a lot of things to discuss here. And you can see
Yeah.
here the next topic is ADO.NET. How to connect to the database from .NET and what are the classes available in this ADO.NET. So that is a framework that is actually gives you a lot of idea about the connectivity to database with the help of .NET applications. Also, we will be discussing about the state management techniques. Okay, so this state management technique is nothing but, as I said earlier, sessions, cookies, and we have applications, we have query strings. So this state management technique. So whenever we create a web applications with the help of .NET, so this web app will have a page. Let's take an example. We will be having a page for login. So what I need, so whenever I say login is successful, okay, I need to keep a session. I need to create a session, and this session needs to be available till I log out. Okay, so that state management technique will give the idea about the how we can go and create a session for a user, and then for a page, for example, I just need a session for just for single page. What I will be using, I will be using a cookie, I will be using view states. So a lot of things are there, right? So these things we will be discussing during the uh, our lectures as well, right?
Mhm.
So this is this is the just the content that is available for the web forms. Now this is for MVC. What is planned for MVC? Just the things that we discuss in these web forms, same thing that we'll be discussing in MVC as well. But right now our framework is different. Our project structure is different in MVC. And this is very
Mhm.
easy to learn. The MVC is very easy because here we just have separate folders. For example, if you want to create web forms, we will go directly to the particular folder and just create that web form. That's it. Here we will be having one page, and that one page will be having ASPX, and that ASPX will have a C# page as well. So in this MVC, what are we discussing? We will be discussing about the basics of MVC. For example, what are the project structure is there, how the MVC is different from web forms, what are the differences between the web forms and MVC here, what are the advantages of MVC, what is the page life cycle of MVC as well. Okay, and same way forms. Like for example, how to create a form in MVC. For example, we have a controls like buttons, and then we have a drop down. We have all the control that is presented in MVC. So we will be discussing each and every control with them.
Mhm.
And in the in that part, what are the advantages of this MVC using these forms controls with these web forms as well. here we have some disadvantages in web forms as compared to MVC. Okay, but learning is very much important. Unless you are not learning these web forms, you will not able to migrate this application uh, into the MVC application, because right now, uh, just hang on, just okay, yeah. I'm back. So you can see here
Okay.
the things that we discuss in these web forms, that is controls and buttons as well. Uh, and one more thing, like we will discuss state management techniques here as well in MVC. So we have here new things. For example, we have a view data here, view bag, temp data. So new things we will be learning in this MVC. Also, we will be learning about the entity framework. Now, what is this entity framework? What are the ways to connect to the database with the help of entity framework? So earlier we were using this AD.NET in web forms, but right now in MVC we are using the entity framework, and that is the advantage of learning this .NET program, because you not only learn a .NET here, for example, uh, .NET framework, you'll be learning more things in .NET. For example, entity framework, AD.NET as well, and these things actually gives you the idea to connect to the database. Okay, so we have three ways here to connect to the database, like this MVC application, and we can connect to the database. And also you can see at last we will be having a SQL Server trading program as well, like how to write a query with the help of syntaxes, way to perform the operations, filtration, sorting, grouping, joins, store procedures, and functions. Okay, so all these things we will be discussing in the uh, our training session as well, right? So that is the complete content that I was actually discussing about you. So any questions like on these things?
No, not at this stage.
Okay, and as I said earlier, these are the links. So installation guide for SQL Server 2019. So these two things that you need to install, and installation guide for Visual Studio 2019 or 2022, and now we have a latest one that is 23. So this is the link that you need to use. Also, we will be using tools here, for example, Postman or Fiddler, just to test the API. So not only we will be learning a SQL Server, but also we will be learning the API as well. So what are we learning in API? So HTTP works, Okay, what is HTTP box? So we will be learning about the GET, POST. Okay, so these are the verbs that is available in these verbs, right? And also we will be learning about these tools, how to use this tool in the API. Also, we will be learning how to test the API with Postman. So this API is very much important because that is also uh, the things that is very much important as your career point of view, because a lot of applications, lot of application or companies are using these APIs. Also, we will be using how things I can pass. For example, if I say media type formatter, okay, and how to um, consume this API as well, maybe. Right? So these things we will be discussing in the lecture as well. So as I said earlier, these links I will be sharing with you during the our web application started the lecture. First, the pages about the C# application, and then we will be planning for the web applications. But we need a Visual Studio first. Okay, during our first lecture, we will be starting about the Visual Studio, and then we will be starting about the lectures for this content. Maybe if you need a content like complete content, like this, maybe the coordinator can help you out, like how can we navigate to this content from SSIT website.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I guess we covered a lot of things. Anything from your end?
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Actually, there are some, maybe you can call .NET trainer as of now, because some of the confidential that we need to maintain during this training. So that's why I can't
Hmm.
reveal my name right now. But yeah, if you need some details about myself, you can reach out to coordinator. They will guide you.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah. So
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. One thing actually we left with is a real world, real-time application, right? So let me just open the application so I can demonstrate that as well with you.
Yeah,
Mm,
that would be good.
yeah, it's opening. Allow me some just 2 minutes. Yeah, it's opening. So like this complete application that is that we actually using for as a reference purpose as well, and will actually you can see here. Let me share my screen again. Uh, I hope it's visible. Yeah, you can see here. Let me just start this one. That, Yep. So this is a Visual Studio. If you want to learn more about this Visual Studio, I will share some link in the during our C# lectures, and that actually so this is nothing but our project structure where we have a project. You can see here, this is a project we have. These are the pages we are using in this application. Also, you can see here we created a grid view for separate folders. We have state management, right? We have user controls, that is available validation control, you can see. And once we run this application, you can see here, it's opening. Just give me a second here. Yep. I can see this is our application, uh, .NET application that we've created. You can see this is a home, this is about, contact, this is a default application. And you can see I've changed the application name here as a quick info app. You can see login screen. On this login screen, I have written some logic here, like this is just to understand the page life cycle. You can see I've created a form as well, name, password, and submit button, right? And you can see its form is submitted. Yeah, that will be some exceptions that we are getting. You can see. Uh, let's go for different one. That is the application about the .NET, and you can see here what are we doing in the backend. You can see we have a phases. For example, if you want to learn more about this grid view, what you need to do, you need to just call this page. So if I say CRUD, okay, CRUD.asp, just call out this page in this URL. So I will be saying grid view, that is a folder name, /CRUDX. That's it. So you can see here it will go to that particular page, and you can see this is a grid. So if I say I want to add a new row, I'll say two. If I say test, let me add this one. If I say add new, and this data will be added in this particular grid, not only in grid but also in database. Okay, so
Okay.
this complete record has been added into the database, and how it's added? If you go to that particular page, let's go to that particular page. Let's go to the ASPX. You can see we have a ASPX, that is a front end, and you can see this is our front end, how it looks like. Let me double click on this one. This is a front end that we have created. Here we have a grid view, and this is a control that we have. Okay, and if you see, this is a back end, and in this back end, what are we doing? We are inserting a row. If you can see, when we click a button, where is the button? You can see add new. This is our button. So we are getting all the information from these text boxes that we have on the page, and then we open a connection here. You can see connection open, and then we execute a query here. You can see here we execute a query that inserting the data into the database, and then we are showing a message like added successfully. You can see. So this complete data is actually, this complete logic has been written in the backend of with the help of C# language. Okay, and you can see we have a connection string, we have
Hmm.
proper data as well that we are loading here. So this is not only a normal application, we will be using a proper end-to-end application as well. Like for example, if I use this CRUD_final one, you will see a proper page as well. You can see here. So we are using a proper CSS here. We are using a layout, like this is a proper layout here. For example, if you want to edit this one, so it will create edit. And if we directly say update, okay, so what it will do, it will update the same record. Let's take an example. If we are not right passing any information in this, and if we directly click on this insert button, see, it's showing you a validation. Right. So how these validations come into the picture, how we will be using this validation. So this is in .NET. Okay, we are actually seeing these things. We are watching these things in real world applications as well. For example, some e-commerce sites, how things actually working at application level. So that's why this is very much important from the .NET as well as from your from your career perspective as well. Right. So that is the plan of the today's demo lecture. We discussed a lot of things. I hope that gives you a lot of knowledge about the or roadmap about the training sessions, right?
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. If you need some assistance, please reach out to coordinator. They will help you out.
Yep. We'll do that.
Sure. Thank you. Have a
All
nice
right.
day.
Thank you. You too.